What's going on, Not Move Nation? Today is October 6th at 2:06 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm here with JB Sport Talk and Charbie. What's going on, guys?
What up?
What
We're
up?
good.
What up? All right. So tonight we have the Kansas City Chiefs at Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm looking at rotogrinders.com/weather/NFL. And they are saying that there is a slim chance of a shower with winds sustained a bit over 10 miles per hour, gusts over 20 miles per hour. But they're saying that they expect the weather impact to be low. It could affect some maybe long kicks or deep throws, is what they're saying on here. Now,
Yeah, they
the
have that potential hurricane.
The Chiefs lead the all-time series 10-6 against Jacksonville. The Chiefs have won 8 games in a row against Jacksonville. Mahomes is a perfect 5-0 in his career against the Jaguars, and the Chiefs won each of those games by 7+ points. Tonight, I'm seeing that the Chiefs are favored by 3.5 points. Also, Trevor Lawrence has a 0-3 record against Kansas City and has lost each of his games by 7+ points. The most notable injury that I see on the list here is Xavier Worthy. He is questionable, but the reports that I saw have him expecting to play in this game. I see, that the Chiefs have a pretty good passing advantage. I would give Jacksonville a good-sized rushing advantage. Chiefs a big third down conversion advantage. No clear red zone conversion advantage for either of these teams. Jacksonville's slight red zone attempts per game advantage. No clear sacks on the quarterback advantage. And Jacksonville has a sizable turnover differential advantage. With all that being said, JB, big game for your Chiefs tonight. What are you expecting in this one?
Oh man, a big defensive game, dude. It's gonna be who can stop who more, with the possibility, of Worthy possibly being out, everything like that. And at least not necessarily being out, but it being an ankle
Limited.
concern. You know, um, we'll see how that goes, but. With Worthy, obviously we've seen how the Chiefs defense or the Chiefs whole like almost team just goes. Um, Night and day difference. You know what I mean? Night and day.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm expecting a defensive game. But
Word.
Last that I saw, Mahomes' passing yards were listed at 248.5. Jacksonville, before the week started, they ranked 9th worst in passing yards allowed to quarterbacks. Mahomes has gone over that line in 2 out of 4 games this season. One moment, please. I need to take a drink. All right, there we go. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so 2 out of 4 times this season he's gone over that passing total. He's gone over that line in 10 out of 19 games in 2024. And in 4 out of 5 career games that he's played against Jacksonville, he's gone over this passing line that is set here today. Also, he has very good history against Jacksonville. He's actually had 300 plus passing yards in 4 out of 5 career games against Jacksonville. Also, Jacksonville ranks 24th in passing yards allowed per game, and Kansas City ranks 10th in passing play percentage. So Kansas City likes to call a high percentage of passing plays relative to the other teams in the league. Once again, they rank 10th in that category. Jacksonville has a much better run defense than pass defense. So, typically when you see a team that's favored, my natural instincts are that they may run the ball late in the later stages of the game if they're ahead in the game. And the Chiefs may do that, but, I think it's important for the Chiefs to try to expose that Jacksonville pass defense more than try to run the ball on them. And the Chiefs haven't been exceptionally good at running the ball this season. They do rank 19th in rushing yards per game before the week started, so they've been doing okay in that regard. But they ranked 12th in passing yards per game before the week started. So, uh, you know, they are a stronger passing team in regards to yards per game, more so than the rushing attack. Do you expect that, JB? Do you expect the Chiefs to try to expose that Jacksonville pass defense more than attack the Jaguars on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we talked to those guys, Keep Me and Mr. White on the episode for this morning. Their main concern was the back end. You know, getting burnt because their safeties don't play sideline to sideline very well. They're more run support, and they're trying to jump routes more so, you know what I mean, anticipate the play instead of actually following the play. So they're like, that's their biggest weakness. And with Worthy and Tyquan Thornton, they're like, them getting behind them is their biggest concern. They want to keep everything in front, which is, but I think this is where Brashad Smith comes out. He's been emerging throughout the games the last 2 weeks. He's been more and more productive, and he's had the ball more plays, and then he's touched the ball more and more and gained more and more yards each time. So expect this to kind of be his, I don't know, breakout, but definitely people start noticing.
Yeah. So would you lean towards Mahomes getting over that 248.5 passing yards today? I'm liking it just based on the statistics and the situation and everything.
Yeah, but what were you saying with gusts of wind of how high though?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how high are the gusts of wind supposed to be
They
during
could
the
get up
game?
to about 20 miles per hour is what they're saying.
Could get up to what does it say what they are right now, or what
Yeah,
they're
I can
like
check a
expected
different
to be at
source.
kickoff?
Yeah, let me see what I got here. I'm at NFLweather.com.
I'm currently showing 12 miles per hour wind gust in Jacksonville. AccuWeather.com.
Do you see anything? Do you see anything, Charbie, for around game time?
According to my statistics, I do not have any game time information.
Okay. Let me
But that's
check.
probably going to continue, I mean, it's weather. What are we talking about?
I mean, if that's the case, I mean, definitely see that impacting the quarterbacks and passing the ball.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's not real strong gusts, I mean, yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it. I'm looking at this. It's just with a couple wide receivers. He's doing pretty damn good.
I like to take the weather into consideration, but just based on, what I've seen in the past and my experience, I try not to look too much into weather. I try not to play weatherman too much. It's worth looking at for sure, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen wind gusts of 30 miles per hour and snow, and it's a shootout. And then I can't tell you how many times I've just seen optimal weather conditions and it
Right.
just be the lowest scoring game in NFL history. But Charbie, would you be leaning towards Mahomes getting 249 plus passing yards today? I mean,
I want to take the under slightly.
yeah,
That's just what I'm feeling deep in my loins.
yeah,
Uh,
that's
like
okay.
I like JB's take. JB, you said it was gonna be defensive.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be defensive. It's a primetime game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they're just gonna be, I think, a little more tactical with each other. However, Casey doesn't have that big run game, so he might. That's a close one. That's a good line, but I'm gonna stick with the under, but not by much.
Got it. And it was Travis Kelsey's birthday yesterday. His receiving line, last that I checked today, is at 42.5. He's gone over that in 3 out of 4 games this season. He went over that in 10 out of 19 games in 2024. and he's gone over that mark in 5 out of 6 career games against Jacksonville. He's also had a touchdown reception in 3 out of 6 career games against Jacksonville. And
Mm.
Jacksonville allowed the fourth most receiving touchdowns to tight ends in 2024. This year, it looks like Jacksonville's been about middle of the pack. They haven't been top 10 or bottom 10 in regards to receiving yards allowed to tight ends, receptions allowed to tight ends. JB, what are you feeling about Travis Kelce? Do you think he gets 43 plus receiving yards today and or a touchdown?
I like the touchdown for sure.
Hey, Ivan.
Depending on the Worthy situation. I mean, yeah, I kind of do like it. I do like it. I think if they utilize Worthy and Thornton and take the top off with them a couple of times and make them safeties that don't play sideline to sideline very well and kind of try to put them in position, you know, over the top. I think that's decent. I think it's a good idea because then Kelsey can eat under the underneath and in the middle.
Ivan says it's prime time. Kelce under. Yeah, I could see that. And, yesterday was his birthday, and I was looking at his game logs throughout his career. I was looking at the games where he played on his birthday or shortly after his birthday. And history says that he doesn't really score a lot of touchdowns on his birthday or the day or two after his birthday when he plays games. But it seems like he was getting about 70 receiving yards in each of those games. That's what I would expect for Kelce today. I do have to lean towards him going over his receiving line total. I don't feel as confident in Kelce scoring a touchdown in this one. Charbie, what are you feeling, man? Are you feeling that Kelce goes over this receiving line, 43 plus receiving yards, and do you think he scores a touchdown?
I think it's very possible he scores a touchdown.
That's what I was thinking, Ivan. Sorry, Charbie.
No, you're good. This is Kelsey's last year. I think we all know it was just his birthday. This is a primetime game. I think he's trying. He's the kind of guy who likes to be in like the limelight with his like podcast and everything. I think
Mm-hmm.
this dude's trying to make like a put like a big stamp on his last season. And him and Mahomes are boys. I think he's gonna look for Kelsey and try to light him up on his last season, pretty much every game that he can. And this is a great
Yeah.
spotlight for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think with him being a lot older now, and this being his last year, and
Yeah,
it's a position that they're in right now with in the conference or in the division and in the league, being a 2-2, he doesn't really have room to not be at his best.
I'm thinking Kelsey,
He
but
can't expect them to be at his best. I mean, if you've seen him go off with Jawan Taylor telling him to be at his best to stop all the penalties, he can't come out there hungover, man. Bad example. Bad example. I mean,
Another thing that I want to mention is that the Jaguars allowed, before the week started, they allowed the 6th most receiving yards to running backs and the 8th most receptions to running backs. I see that Pacheco leads the running back corp in in target share. 9 total targets this season compared to Kareem Hunt's 6.
Rashard Smith.
JB, who would you say has the better pass catching ability in this game?
Rashard Smith.
Who?
Rashard Smith.
Rashard Smith. Okay.
Number 24. I keep saying it.
Okay.
Watch
So
Rashard Smith. Those guys. That's if you go back to last week's game, he really broke out the most that he's done, and that's the type of style. He's a Brian Westbrook kind of style, out the back and catch the ball more. His only reason in him not being in has been due to his pass blocking abilities or lack thereof. But they've always wanted him to be that guy. He's trying to pick that up and doing a lot better. So with that being said, I expect him to be out there a lot more, especially with him being vulnerable in that area. He already did it last week. He was catching the out the back. His comparison to me is a Jerick McKinnon. Um, very more of a slender guy, not very big built, but very high IQ and knows where to take the ball. Chief 316 will tell you the same thing this week. Expect him to merge out because exactly what we said, they play a lot of zone. They don't play man to man. So with them going and being aware that they're going to take the top off the defense, but they also have to block the middle over the middle with Kelsey and Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. Who are you going to cover? Oh, they don't know a lot about this guy named Rashard Smith who's just sneaking right out the backfield, dump it off, and he's gone for 15, 20-yard gains at a time. It's what's
Hey,
going to
that's a
happen.
great. I just want to say, JB, that's a great call out. When I was looking at this defensive vulnerability with the Jacksonville Jaguars, I was having a tough time deciding, would I rather go with Pacheco receiving yards and or receptions or Hunt receiving yards and or receptions. I didn't even know about Brashard Smith. I'm looking at the Chiefs game log from last week, and you're right. Out of all of the
I'm gonna
Chiefs,
tell you whatever. I don't know whatever. If you guys can find him on anything, I don't know what it is, but
yeah.
I would take him as a hot pick right now.
He had 3 receptions off 4 targets. He led the running back court in target share last week, 27 yards receiving. He had a 17-yard reception. Great call
Up
out.
the sideline, up the sideline. Let me remind you this: when he caught this ball, he went up the right sideline, and this is why he also reminds me of Jerick McKinnon. Is how he receives and takes off, and he went his vision and his footwork is immaculate because he's going down the sideline, he's getting hit by like 3 or 4 guys, and he's juking them, he's spinning, he's getting hit, and he's not once did his feet come close to going out of bounds. I was like, oh my god, he's up, and they're like, no, he's still going, he's just spinning and twirling down the sideline. I'm like, that dude's dangerous. That's why they haven't been playing him. They're just getting him started. This is the time. Each game he's gone more and more and more. And if you look at Andy Reid's system, that's how they play it. They get you more comfortable as you go. The better they see you, if you can prove to them, there you go. Unleash him.
Great call out, JB. Also, another defensive vulnerability I see with the Jacksonville Jaguars is that before the week started, they allowed the 7th most receptions to wide receivers. But we have many receivers on the Chiefs and Mahomes really likes to spread that ball around. Thornton, Worthy, Juju, Hollywood. Which one do you see having the best game in this one, JB?
Man, that one's tough.
It is.
Because it's
Because there's
I
just so
would
many of them.
well that, and it's also the pending ankle thing with Worthy, right? Um, it's a little bit different. I would say probably being a quarterback and having an ankle injury, you can balance a little bit differently versus a wide receiver and got to make a cut. I don't know though. Terrell Owens played with 2 screws in his ankle, so I don't know. Maybe it is easier. Worthy would is probably gonna have a nice day. Just because of his speed and how they use him. I think Tyquan Thornton is going to be kind of, he might have a nice, a catch or 2. He's more of a deep threat. But I would say like Worthy and probably Juju. I like Juju, especially for a touchdown catch.
I think you were telling me that Worthy was your leading rusher last week, so I had to look this up, right? I
Something like
had
that,
to
yeah.
look up how many yards did Jacksonville allow to wide receivers rushing the ball last season, and they ranked. They didn't allow any. They didn't allow any. So I don't know if they even faced any. Let's see. It doesn't even look like anybody tried that against them, actually. So, oh no, that's this year. Let's look last season. Rushing yards allowed to wide receivers. They allowed 18 rushing yards. They ranked second best last season. So, I mean, there's probably some worthy rushing props out there. I would be a little bit hesitant on it personally. Just I would have to look into who Jacksonville played. and how well they did at defending that last season. Just not necessarily a spot I'm looking to zone in on one way or the other. What do you think,
Thinking about
AJ?
it though, Hollywood Brown might have a nice day too.
That's
Playing that
what I'm feeling,
zone,
man.
yeah,
Hollywood Brown.
because playing that zone like that in the way that he plays, he kind of is. And here's another guy, Jalen Royals. He plays a lot like Rasheed Rice. They haven't really played him too much. I think last week was kind of like his really like go game. He had like maybe a couple plays. Um, he might be one to watch and look for if you like him on something. But really, Hollywood would probably be that guy.
I'm
Um,
seeing that Hollywood Brown's receptions last that I saw were listed at 4.5. He
mhm.
had 6 receptions for 98 yards in 1 out of 1 career games against Jacksonville. He also leads the team in target share. So yeah, I think Hollywood looks decent here. Um, Juju.
I like
His
Juju.
his reception total was 2.5 last that I checked. He's gone over that in 4 out of 6 career games against Jacksonville. I talked with one of my buddies earlier. He likes Juju to potentially get a touchdown in this game. Let's see what Ivan has to say here. Is it possible to look up running back rushing yards versus Chiefs? Yeah. So the Chiefs, they didn't rank in. Let me backtrack a little bit. The Chiefs rank before the week started. They ranked 22nd in rushing yards allowed per game. And then before the week started, they did not rank in the top 10 or the bottom 10 in rushing yards allowed to running backs. So about middle of the pack. Now that there's been teams that played this past weekend, so it would be unfair to the Chiefs, and it probably benefits the Chiefs. If I look this up on the fantasy.nfl.com, fantasy points against, and filter it by running back rushing yards, I'm sure the Chiefs are going to be in the top 10 now. Yeah, currently they rank number 10 at limiting running back uh, rushing yards. But once
Well,
again,
we haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher.
a lot of these teams have already played an extra game. So
The Chiefs haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in 30 games, counting the bye.
right, yeah,
So
and
it's ain't nothing really changed too much about that. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And
Is
they've
that straight?
continued it. It's
Is that
straight.
straight rushing the ball, or is that
Yeah,
receptions too?
that's just rushing.
Okay.
Yeah, we have not allowed a 100-yard rusher in 30 plus games, counting playoffs and Super Bowl. So 2 years.
Yeah. And I mean, I could see ETN getting over his line. It's not a spot I'm looking to target, but I definitely wouldn't be taking him for 100 plus rushing yards against history like that.
Right. That and I know going back because now you make a point on that because I didn't even think about that and you brought a point, Charbie, was asking about collective scrimmage yards, like all around yards. Because they held Barkley to like 66, or like Derrick Henry like 66. They held Barkley like 86, 70, 75. I mean, they've held a consecutive amount of like especially notable running backs down under 100 with I wonder how long that's been too, from total yards as well. It's probably low.
With all that being said, I think ETN is in a favorable situation here. They have done a great job at running the ball this year. Jacksonville Chiefs, once again, before the week started, ranked 22nd in rushing yards allowed per game. Also, before the week started, the Chiefs ranked 28th in opponent rushing yards per attempt. So they were allowing big gains through through the opponent's rushing attack. And ETN this season, before the week started, ranked second in yards per carry. So just based on all of that alone, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see ETN get some big gains. And last that I saw, his rushing line was at 64.5. He's gone over that in 3 out of 4 games this season, but he's 0-3 to the over on that line against the Chiefs in his 3-game history against the Chiefs. He's never got over that rushing line. Also, Jacksonville, Jacksonville calls a higher percentage of rushing plays than the Chiefs do. So I mean, I think it's a decent spot for him. But man, yeah, I can't take ETN for 100 plus going up against a trend like that. Although,
Yeah.
man, on paper it doesn't look terrible for him to have a good rushing game. Somebody that I'm kind of looking at that I would rather target for Jacksonville in that rushing game is Trevor Lawrence, believe it or not. Last that
Mm.
I saw, his over under on rushing yards was 11 and a half. Before the week started, the Chiefs ranked fifth worst in rushing yards allowed to quarterbacks. Also, here was a great statistic that I saw before I came onto the show. Trevor Lawrence has played 3 career games against the Kansas City Chiefs. And in each one of those games, he rushed for exactly 26 yards. He's not averaging 20. Well, he is averaging 26 yards
Yeah.
a game against the Chiefs. But he individually, I mean, what are the odds of that, playing a team 3 separate times and having the exact same rushing yard total in each of those games, 26. So I have to lean here with Trevor Lawrence going over that. Do you guys have any thoughts about that? Trevor Lawrence getting 12 plus rushing yards? I mean,
Yeah, give me the over, dude.
it's
Yeah,
pretty specific.
getting over 12, over 12. Yeah, over
Yeah,
12. Yeah,
12
yeah,
plus rushing
yeah,
yards.
yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. They won't give him 50. I don't think, but you know what I mean. 12. Yeah, over 12.
Dude, I
Yeah,
can
that's what I
see.
was looking at.
Yeah.
Also, guys, JB, I really want to know your take on this. Somebody that I'm looking at for this Jacksonville Jaguars team is Brenton Strange. Okay. Last that I saw, his receiving line was at 33 and a half. He's the second leader in target share for this Jacksonville team. He's gone over that line in 3 out of 4 games this season. Um, but here's the thing. The Chiefs ranked sixth best before the week started. They ranked sixth best in receiving yards allowed to tight ends and sixth best in receptions allowed to tight ends. But I'm not sure if this Chiefs defense is as good as it seems on paper when it comes to tight end defense because last season they allowed the most receiving yards to tight ends. They allowed the third most receptions to tight ends, and they really haven't played against any big time tight ends. I mean, they've played against the Chargers, who have what Hunter Henry.
Mm.
Well, I'm not saying he's bad, but there are better, some better tight ends in the league.
Got
Philadelphia, who didn't have Goddard in that game against the Chiefs, from my understanding, they had Cal Katera starting. Theo Johnson in the Giants, and then Mark Andrews, who had I believe he had 7 receptions in that last game.
Yeah. Likely was there too. He was there for a little bit. He didn't do much, but it was like his first game back. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
I see. Well, I'm looking at the box score right now. I'm not seeing Likely was even targeted in this game. I'm
No.
seeing Mark Andrews had 7 receptions for 30 yards and 0 touchdowns. So I just don't think that this Chiefs defense has been tested by a decent tight end, and I kind of like Brenton Strange. I like his over on receiving yards this game. I could also see him getting it over the receptions. I would have to lean more towards his receiving yards. Do you see, Brenton Strange? What do you think about this Chiefs tight end defense? And then let's go answer a question over here by Ivan.
Um. Hmm. What's his over under?
Over under is 33 and a half receiving yards last that I checked.
Yeah, I could see him going over for sure. Like you said, he hasn't really. They haven't really played anybody to really test him too much. Their linebacking core is pretty much. It is the same. Give or take maybe a guy or two at depth, right? Um,
Hmm.
I mean, they could have gotten, older, wiser, stronger, faster, maybe, but I don't know.
The over.
I'm gonna go over, over definitely.
I'm going over.
Yeah, I do
Okay,
too.
so all right, good to know. Thank you, guys. I was leaning towards the over as well. Also, Ivan says, how many rushing attempts are the Chiefs allowing to running backs per game? So let's look this up. So the Chiefs have allowed 73 rushing attempts by the running backs this season. So let me just get out the handy dandy calculator here.
Bada boom, bada bing.
A bada boom, bada bing. So what are we doing here? 73 divided by 4. Um, 18.25, Ivan, per game rushing attempts to running backs this season. Good trend, better. I'm locking that in. Cool, cool. Yeah. Brenton Strange. There's somebody that I was looking at. And then I do have to mention ETN receptions. The Chiefs have allowed, before the week started, the eighth most receptions to running backs. ETN's reception line was over under 2.5 last that I saw. He went over that in more than half of his games last season, 8 out of 15. And then he's gone over that in 2 out of 3 career games against the Chiefs. Something that I would look at is maybe target share and stuff like that. But if you guys are interested in that, not necessarily something that I'm looking to zone in on, but I could see it happening. If you guys, want to look more into that, I think it is potentially worth looking into. But I like the Britton Strange receiving yards. I like the Mahomes passing yards. I like Kelsey receiving yards. I like Trevor Lawrence rushing yards. I probably feel the least confident in Kelsey's receiving yards. And how can I not feel confident in Trevor Lawrence's rushing yards? I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So they,
but statistically, I think the best thing that looks good historically is that Mahomes passing yards. But I think my favorite plays, are Brenton Strange receiving yards and Trevor Lawrence rushing yards. Any touchdown scores that you guys are feeling in this one? I think I'll have to go with, I don't know, man. Flip Juju.
yeah. I like Juju for a tutty. Called that yesterday, or not yesterday, last week. And he did it. Um,
I like Brashard.
um,
I like Brashard to get a tutty.
yeah, I was about to say that. You took words out of my mouth. Well,
Get that goal line, that first and goal, and do a little bootleg pass out to him. Bam.
And as much as I like Brenton Strange today, I don't know about him getting a touchdown because even though the Chiefs were bad at defending against that tight end position last season, they weren't allowing a whole lot of tight ends to score touchdowns on them. So I'd probably have to lean towards somebody else on this Jaguars team
ETN boy.
to get a tutty, and yeah, ETN
I
is
like
a
the running.
candidate. He is a candidate. And I just kind of want to see last season where the Chiefs were vulnerable to touchdowns allowed. Do you guys have any other thoughts on this game while I'm looking that up? Receiving touchdowns to wide receivers is where the Chiefs were most vulnerable at last season. So that's probably where I would look for a Jaguar to score is Travis Hunter props. It's tough for me to do props on rookies without history. Ivan, I did have a buddy today though that told me that he likes Hunter to get a touchdown today.
uh,
But here's the thing about the Chiefs: they rank 10th in opponent yards per completion. So I would think that Jacksonville wouldn't necessarily try to throw deep passes. I think they would try to hit their more so of their possession guy. And when we look at target share, that could maybe give us a general idea on who their possession guy is. Who are they targeting? Um, the most, who has the most receptions. So I'm at fantasysp.com. target dash touch dash leaders slash KC dash all. Okay, so Jacksonville. Why can I not find this team right now?
Travis Hunter, longest reception, somebody said.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So although Brian Thomas leads this team in target share,
Yeah.
Brenton Strange leads this team. Brenton Strange has 9 less targets. Brenton Strange ranks second in target share on the Jaguars. He has 9 less targets than Brian Thomas, but he has 7 more receptions. So his catch rate is high. But we're looking for a wide receiver here. Travis Hunter, man, he has 13 receptions and he ranks third in target share. He has 11 less targets than Brian Thomas and
Here's
1
the
more
deal, though.
reception.
Yeah, but here's the deal, though. So, I'm pretty sure that will put him. He would be placed on, or the DB that would be placed on him would be Dole Williams. I'm pretty sure at that point. Dole Williams is actually the highest grade cornerback in the NFL right now. He's a rookie drafted in third, fourth round. I think it's third round. From the Chiefs last year, in this year's draft. He's allowing the least amount of receptions. I mean, everything. He's giving up the least amount of touchdowns, 20-yard receptions, intermediate. He's shut down. So if that's the matchup that comes down to it, I don't like that. I'm just saying. The Chiefs DBs on top of that, you got Trent McDuffie, who's also been pretty lights out as well throughout his career. And the only thing that the one guy they've been talking about is Josh Williams. He should be coming back, and they're just hoping that he gets back to normal form. He was him too.
So blessed up P. I am adding up Travis Hunter's all of his longest receptions this season, and I'll divide that by as many games as he's played. So
I like De'Ami Brown to get the longest reception for Jacksonville. It's kind of his specialty. Give me Brown, number 5, Jacksonville, longest reception, please.
It's okay.
Yeah, blessed up. So his average longest reception this year is 17. But I have to feel like the Chiefs will hold him under that only because the Chiefs rank 10th in opponent yards per completion. So just not something that I specialize in, blessed up P, but I hope that gives you some information that you're looking for.
Williams right now.
Any other thoughts on this game, guys? So here comes the big moment that we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. You're welcome, Ivan. Final score predictions. Do you guys think that the Chiefs win this game by 4+ points?
Yes,
I do.
Yeah, I was watching. I did this thing on TikTok. I made this post, and I seen. It's kind of odd. We haven't seen him in a while, but it makes sense. It's, Halloween. Chucky Doll made his appearance and took the Chiefs 26-20.
Such a good score.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going with Chucky 26-20.
So man, I would either, if I were playing it on the safe side, I do feel confident that the Chiefs win this game. If I were playing it on the safe side, I would go Chiefs to win the game, money line. Or if I were feeling a little bit friskier, I would do Chiefs -6.5, simply because the Chiefs, like I stated at the start of the show, the Chiefs, Mahomes has a 5-0 record against Jacksonville. In each one of those games, the Chiefs won by 7+ points. So I wouldn't really necessarily do anything in the middle of that. I would either go Chiefs money line or Chiefs by 7+. And That's just my take on that. My final score prediction. This one's tough for me. This is probably one of the tougher primetime games that I've had to call, and I've been doing real good. I know I've been mentioning that a lot in primetime games. If I were to have to lean one way, I would have to lean towards the Chiefs winning this game by 4+ points. My final score prediction on this is going to be I'm going to let Charbie take over for a second while I think about the final score prediction.
All right.
Charbie?
So Charbie's got the floor. Thank you very much. So the way I see this game is Jacksonville is 3-1. Real quick, just a brief synopsis. Jacksonville's 3-1. They're at home on a primetime game. The Chiefs have been kind of like looking shady for the last couple years. So they might be like seeing that the kingdom is crumbling, and they're ready to like show out this night, right? So I think they're going to bring everything that they got. And I think the Chiefs are going to end up winning 23-17 Kansas City on this one.
I like it. I like it. I see when I agree with Ivan. This is it's hard to predict. I announced this the other day too. I knew I knew that the Chiefs were going to start 0-2. I predicted that they'd go 2-2. When it came to game 5, week 5, I was like, I it was tough. Just because Jacksonville, they either tend to kind of be good in the beginning, and then at the end they kind of trail off, or vice versa. They won't be very good at the beginning, or they'll struggle, and then you know what I mean. Their defense has always been good, though. The defense has always been the reason why they've stuck around. But they don't, because of the offense. I think the defense kind of gives up. I mean I've seen it as a very even game, and opposites, right? Opposite of strengths. So I think it's going to be definitely a good show out. It's just it it is a tough game, I think.
I feel confident in the Chiefs winning this game. Okay,
I do.
but I'm gonna say the Chiefs win this game 24-17. 24-17.
I would have taken 24-17 as well, but I'm thinking they missed an extra point because of the wind conditions. I looked it up. 16 miles an hour in the evening time. They're going to miss something.
Yeah.
That's why I
That
took
was my
23.
thinking. That was my thinking, of with the passing. How's it going to affect it? Because Jacksonville is ranked number 1 with interceptions. They average 3 a game.
13 total, dude.
They average 3 a game.
And you know what, dude? Jacksonville.
It's just interceptions. It's 13. It's 9 interceptions, and it's 13 turnovers. They average that. That's not counting fumbles. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
Some ball hoppers, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from Jacksonville, but let's look at who they've played. Bryce Young in week 1, Jake Browning in week 2, CJ Stroud, and was Brock Purdy in this last Brock Purdy in week 4. So I think that defense is overachieving a little bit in that regard, because when I look at the numbers last year, man, and I know things have changed, but when I look at the numbers last year, I believe the Jaguars ranked like they had the second or third or fourth fewest interceptions in the league. So,
the Texans got a pretty real defense. They're not some schlebs. The 49ers defense, whatever. And in both those games, they put up 26 and 17 points. So 17 points against the Texans. The Chiefs defense, man, primetime Spags, stuff he dials up. I think 17 is the right number, somewhere around there.
Yeah, Ivan. So I was pretty much zoning in on Mahomes' passing yards, 248.5. He's gone over that in 4 out of 5 career games against the Jaguars. And in fact, Mahomes has had 300+ passing yards in 4 out of 5 career games against Jacksonville. Also, Jacksonville, before the week started, they rank 24th in passing yards allowed per game. The
Sure.
Chiefs call a high percentage of passing plays relative to the other teams in the league. And Jacksonville is just more vulnerable through the air than they are when opponents have been rushing the ball against them this season. So I have to lean towards Mahomes getting over that. In regards to passing touchdowns, I'm sure that line's probably at what, 1.5 or so. I would have to think it's at 1.5. Let me look.
100%, yeah.
How many passing touchdowns do you guys? While I look this up, how many passing touchdowns do you guys see Mahomes getting tonight?
Um,
See 2+ touchdowns minus 146. So I'm going to look at Mahomes' career history against Jacksonville, which he does have favorable history. Do you think he gets 2+ touchdowns passing tonight, JB?
yeah,
Yeah.
His most recent game against
I do.
Jacksonville, he had 2.
Yeah. 2 is such a just typical number to pick. I like him to throw to.
The last 3 games, he's had at least 2 passing touchdowns against Jacksonville. For the last 4 games, he's had 2+ passing touchdowns. Didn't in 2018, didn't have any. So, 4 out of 5 games, blessed up he has had 2+ passing touchdowns against Jacksonville. And then we can look to see how many passing touchdowns did Jacksonville allow to quarterbacks last season. They allowed the 9th most last season. But let's look at this season. Let's see what Jacksonville's doing this season. Passing touchdowns allowed to quarterbacks. Jacksonville about middle of the pack. So, I mean, yeah, I like Mahomes tonight. I think he's in a good spot for passing yards to get the 2+ touchdown passes.
Yeah,
But something else,
he should eat in that zone. He usually does.
I think something else that we should look at is how many rushing touchdowns is Jacksonville allowing to opposing teams this year, to running backs. They haven't allowed a rushing touchdown to a running back this year. And the Chiefs, yeah, they're stronger defending against the pass, or excuse me, Jacksonville is stronger defending against the rush than the pass. So, yeah, I think it's a good spot for that. And what else? What did he say? Passing touchdowns. Oh, rushing props. Hey, what's going on, Major
Mm-hmm.
Shockwave? Rushing props for Mahomes.
Yo,
Yo, yo. Ivan, what do you think, man? What do you think on the props? What are you loving?
Now, Jacksonville was not, before the week started, they were not in the top 10 or the bottom 10 in rushing yards allowed to quarterbacks. So, not necessarily a spot I'm looking to target with Mahomes rushing. But we can go look at what his rushing line is, blessed up P, and go see how many times in history he's gone over that against this team. 21.5. So 21.5. Any other thoughts on this game while I'm looking at this, guys? Jacksonville. He had 30 rushing yards in his last game against Jacksonville, which was in 2023. 8. I don't think he's going to have the history here. The last 2 out of 3, blessed up P, he's gone over that rushing total. 2 out of 4. And 2 out of 5. So he has more favorable history with the passing yards and passing touchdowns than he does rushing yards against Jacksonville.
Dude, Jacksonville is not a schlubby team.
no,
I told you this,
yeah.
man. They're not rock stars, but they're not bad.
No, that's what I've been saying. I said that last week against Niners, and I think I said it the week before that. I know I said against Niners. It's like, dude, they're not bad. Like, you compare the stats, like, and where they're at. I mean, they're winning. I mean, the stats match up. not like they're just. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Tonight's their real test. So
Yeah, the over 44.5. Man, that's a good line. God, Vegas is so good with these lines. It's unreal.
All right. Well, any last words, guys? I'm about done with what I have to say.
So I'm reading this article here, and Alan Hine, he's a defensive end for Jacksonville. He what did he say here? One sec, let me find his quote. It's a little scary. He was asked, "How are we going to come into this game?" He said, "We're going to come in fast, violent, and efficient." Right. I feel like this is Jacksonville's like biggest stage ever to put the NFL on alert of who they are to take down the once great Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? And check this out, dude. Everybody knows this, but listen, you got T Law, Travis Etienne, BTJ, Travis Hunter, Brenton Strange, right? These guys are ballers. However, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game 23-17, regardless of everything. But I think the Jaguars are going to come in hot, dude. They're going to come in aggressive.
yeah, they always do.
As far as props, man, I haven't really looked into it. That's bettors is and maybe JB's area.
It's like Southgate and Bears.
I haven't looked into the over under too much, blessed up P. That I would like to look at the history between these teams and all that stuff. But just to give you a little bit of information, just for this season, the Chiefs are 2-2 to the over this year, and Jacksonville is also 2-2 to the over. We can go look last season, 2024, to see how these teams did. I'm also looking at teamrankings.com if anybody wants to follow with me. Jacksonville was 9-8 to the over last year, and the Chiefs were 9-11 to the over last year. And then something else that I like to do is just look at the history between these teams. Chiefs versus Jaguars history. How many times has the score between these two teams? I'm seeing 45.5. I think Ivan in the chat said 44.5. Let's see how many times they scored 45 plus points in the recent history. 0 for 1, 1 of 1, 1 of 2, 2 out of 2, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 4, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 6. There's 3, 6, and 3 out of 6, 4 out of the last 10 games between these teams. There have been 45 plus points scored. I hear these guys saying that they're leaning towards it being a defensive game.
Mm-hmm.
It's prime time. I have to lean towards the under based on the little information that I have, which is kind of the reason why. Before I looked this information up, I was leaning towards the under in this game. Now I feel a little bit better in it going under, and that was part of my final score prediction. Just thinking that this game would go under. What did I don't even remember what I said. 24-17 was my final score prediction. So
yeah, I like Brashard Breeland. I mean Brashard Smith. Brashard Breeland. Jeez. Brashard Smith. Juju. Anything you can really find Brashard Smith on, like, I don't know about touchdowns, to be honest with you, but yards for sure. I like over.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I would like to know Mahomes' prime time record. I haven't found a reliable source on that. What I'm seeing back in 2022, just this news article was saying that Mahomes was 15-2 in his last 17 primetime games. I don't know if this is a reliable source or not, but yeah, Ivan, it seems like Mahomes has good history in primetime games.
Yeah, absolutely does. That's probably
Well, any last words, gentlemen? I'm feeling the most confident in Chiefs money line.
Hey, Ben. Patrick Mahomes' career record in primetime night televised nationally games is 89-23. Get some.
Passing yards, Mahomes, 249 plus. Britton Strange receiving yards, Kelsey receiving yards, Trevor Lawrence rushing yards. That's about all I got.
Give me Brashad Smith's receiving yards too.
Yeah, that sounded
Yep.
good. If you guys can find Brashard Smith props.
That's what I've been saying. Yep. Rashard Smith. I like his receiving. I don't really like him rushing. I like him receiving. He might rush a little bit, but maybe give him the over on it.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Ivan, always great to see you. Thanks for engaging with us in chat. JB, did you have anything you wanted to say about the NFL store or anything like that?
Yeah, we can do the QR codes. We got a QR code up here for NFL shop. You guys can snap the QR code, take to the NFL shop link, as well as the MLB shop does the same thing. You need your guys' local, or not local, but merchandise. You guys got it right there, as well as mybookie.ag. Snap it, tag it, promo code, not moved.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Stay not moved.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Moved Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.